Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody else!
No one could have known it then, but when Daytona International Speedway opened in 1959, it marked the beginning of a new era in American motorsports. As a replacement for the old beach road course a few miles to the east, the opening of a high-bank 2.5-mile Florida tri-oval represented the leading edge of a wave of construction of big paved speed palaces. Before Daytona, Indianapolis was the only American oval track longer than 1.25 miles, and most racing took place on dirt ovals 1 mile or less in length. From the very first Daytona 500, won by Lee Petty in a 3-way photo finish, those high banks proved a favorable venue for wide-open stock car racing. Daytona kicked off the growth of NASCAR as we know it today. Daytona International Speedway's infrastructure has grown and changed to such a degree that it would be almost unrecognizable today to someone who hasn't seen it over the last 20 years. It's an amazing motorsports facility. But one thing that hasn't changed over the past 6 decades, no driver can consider his or her career complete without notching a victory at Daytona. From Dale Earnhardt, who captured the 500 in 1998 after coming so close so many times, to 14-year-old kart racers whose racing resumes are just beginning. A victory at Daytona is a mark of distinction. Tonight, it's race number 1 of Beadles' Custom Car Carriers Truck Series, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway race number 1 of Beadles Custom Car Carriers Truck Series. The Numb Thumbs Racing League back in action here tonight. Race details for this evening's race. 85 laps the race distance, just a tick over 200 miles. 72-degree ambient temperature. A little muggy here tonight. 85% humidity, though clear skies. A 7-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature still nice and cool, though. It's 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers working tonight with a 65% fuel load on board. Max unlimited tire changes over the wall, so no need to worry about saving a set for late in the run, but no fast repairs. If you wreck it, you fix it. It's the only way you're going to keep going out there, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Qualifying underway here at the Speedway. It'll be 2 laps or 10 minutes, whatever elapses first. Right now, top time on the board is the 20 of Justin Lawson, a 51.66 to this point. Then it's Paul Durkee now Brandon Coleman up into the second spot. Durkee, Couch, Short, Villano, the top 6. Well, watch Vincent Short. Tends to qualify well here at Daytona and Talladega. A very good super speedway racer at that. It's going to be a contender here tonight, more than likely. First lap for Short, 13th quick, 52.057. Likely to be a throwaway lap for the 15. Coming to the stripe here to finish it up. Pollard's fastest for now. We'll see if he stays there. Short finishes up, goes top of the board. 51.543 for Vincent Short. Gonna have to keep an eye out here for the rest of these drivers to see if that holds and he can hang on to that pole position here this evening. Mike Fahey on track. Mike out of Ilion, New York. 13th quick presently. First lap, 51.669. Fun little fact about Mike Fahey, Zach Millett's favorite driver. Short still top time now. McCann jumps up to the second spot, 51.56. Just missed it. McCann victorious last night here at Daytona, the IROC Challenge Series. Granted, that was in the Next Gen Cup car. Fahey finishes up his qualifying attempt, 14th quick, 51.610 as Connor Leach goes to the top of the board. Eric Beadle outside pole with a fast lap, 51.51. To watch the 24 of Rick LePage. And Rick parks it after his first lap, 3rd quick. Jason Steptoe out on track. Interestingly enough, we do have 44 trucks in the field here tonight. Steptoe losing connection briefly. Steptoe completing his lap, 51.660 on lap 2, a 580 on his first. That puts him 8th quick. Meanwhile, Chris Klein, 6th fast on his first. Interesting strategies here. We've seen some drivers try to make that second lap the quick time. Others going with lap 1 for their fast lap. And there's a little bit of science behind both of those options there. The first lap is good because the tire pressures are low due to the lower temperatures. You don't have as much friction causing that tire temperature to go up and thus the tire pressure to go up. As the pressure increases, that tire expands and gets effectively taller. Why is that a bad thing? Well, taller on the tire means the whole race car that sits on that tire gets a little bit taller as well, sticking that big rear spoiler off the just above the tailgate up in the air a little bit more increases drag. So that's the reason why lap 1 would be best, but the other option to that is lap 2 being better as you build up more speed. You can be out there longer. Takes at least a whole lap to get these trucks really wound out. Good to see Justin Johnson behind the wheel. 26 quick on his first lap, a 51.644. Justin, of course, battling some health issues in recent months. Good to see that he's back here, healthy enough to race. Second lap for Justin Johnson, a 6.36, pretty consistent with his first lap. 25th starting position for the time being. Yet another familiar name. Man, it's good to be back covering Numb Thumbs here. Sean Roberts in the 333, it looks. 52.186 the first lap, sits 42nd, so Sean Roberts' strategy going to be lap 2 for sure. Top 2 drivers still Connor Leach and Eric Beadle. Roberts across start finish, finishing up his attempt, and he goes third quick. Row number 2 for Sean Roberts, 51.526, a very quick lap. Not enough for the pole, but man, a big improvement. Officially 2 minutes, a little more than less than 2 minutes left in the session as Mark Collins about to finish up his attempt. Already below the yellow line. That's okay in qualifying. Cannot do this during the race, though. Collins across the line. Where does he land? 29th, 51.635. That is only about a tenth and a half off the pole. Give you how tight these times are here. Some multiple drivers running identical lap times, 32nd, 33rd, 34th. Derek Welch, Carson Rowland, and Tommy Welch. That may do it here. A couple of drivers haven't taken the time just yet. Tom Barish, Jarrett Woodard. So about a minute left here. We're going to step aside briefly, get a short break out of the way. We'll be back with our starting grid after this. Stay with us. Back at Daytona International Speedway, it's time. Let's take a look here at our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 51.497 seconds. It's the 71 of Connor Leach. Outside front row, missed it by almost 20 thousandths of a second, Eric Beadle. Row number 2, it's Sean Roberts and Rick LePage. Row 3 will be Mark Truxell and Vincent Short, some more familiar names. Row number 4, Chris Klein and Brian McCann. Row 5 will be Dylan Bryant and Jason Steptoe. Starting in the 11th spot, that's going to be Paul Ferdiani, and PJ Cox will start 12th. 13th starter, it's Aikman Pollard. And the number 25, Ryan Pasoko. Hopefully I'm saying that one right. That's 14th. 15th starter, another familiar name from Lone Star Racing. It's the 30 of Drew Blaze. Albert Anderson will start 16th to his outside. Nick Biddy, the number 32 from Sisk Speed Shop, will start 17th. Crystal Volano from Track Bar Motorsports, 18th. 19th starter is Skylar Harrod. Chris Goins, 20th. Larry Dickerson, the number 69 machine, will start 21st. Eddie Rose, the number 88, starts 22nd. Mike Fahey, 23rd. 24th, Jonathan Marsh. Double O Joe going to start in the 25th spot. The 00. At his outside, it's Mike Corvu. 27 starters, Ryan Kemper. Joe David will start 28th. Mark Collins, 29th. The 10 of Justin Johnson, 30th. 31st, Caleb Sisk or Josh Sisk, depending on how well you know him, I guess. Derek Welch will start 32nd. 33rd, Carson Rowland. 34th starter, it's Tommy Welch. 35th, Justin Lawson. 36th, Russ Endicott. 37th, Brandon Coleman. Paul Durkee starts in the 38th position. 39th, John Luke Wilkie. 40th, Scott Milner. 41st, Jesse Redding, Ken Couch. 42nd, 43rd starter is Jarrett Woodard. And last but not least, the 55 of Tom Barish. 44th. It's your starting grid here from Daytona. Field already rolling. One pace lap, and we'll be green. Again, race details for tonight. 85 laps the scheduled distance. 72 degrees, 82% humidity, clear skies, a little bit more breeze at 8 miles per hour. Track temperature at 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers with a 65% fuel load on board. Unlimited tire sets available over the walls, so tire strategy not likely to be a concern. Again, it is Daytona after all. No fast repairs. That's the one caveat that's different from many of our leagues. There are none, so if you wreck it, you break it. Your night's probably going to be done at the speeds we're running here in the trucks. We do have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish, if necessary. So front row is going to be Connor Leach and Eric Beadle. Row 2, Sean Roberts, Vincent Short, then Mark Truxell, Brian McCann, Chris Klein, Jason Steptoe, Brian McCann in the 7. Barney with the green in hand.
Green
Pace
flag.
truck hits pit road. Green called for. There it waves, and we're underway from Daytona. Field into turns 3 and 4. Beadle leads them through. Vincent Short pushing onto the back bumper of the 119. Now the 71 to Connor Leach tries to battle back to the inside. Sean Roberts pushing the 71 back to the tri-oval. Lap 1 in the books. First lap of the season led by Eric Beadle. Vincent Short playing peekaboo around the rearview mirror of Eric Beadle here into turns 3 and 4 yet again. Connor Leach has worked himself back with a nose out in front to the race lead, but not by much. Beadle right there thing with this size of a truck field, 44 trucks took the green flag here, it appears. Everybody's getting it done out there. So far, so good, but that's going to give a lot of options as far as what lane you want to work with, how many numbers you have in that lane, and how well organized that draft line is. That plays a factor in how quickly those lanes move forward or back. If you got 5 cars on the bottom and 10 cars up top, well, or in this case trucks, that 10 truck line is going to be a lot faster than the low side, and vice versa. Numbers make a difference, but they do need to be organized as well. If they're all left, right, all the way down, they've got to be bumper to bumper to bumper all the way back. Three laps in the books. We'll check on the stream chat quickly here. We got BMug115. I forget that name, but it does sound a little familiar. It says, let's go Steptoe. Shugu, that's a familiar one. We got, let's see, Kiara Quinn saying Steptoe. We got some Steptoe fans here. Of course, Lori Vaught from VRL says, hey, Steve, welcome back. Missed you. Good luck, everyone. Pat Davis says, have a good race and go Vincent Short. And Aaron Longworth, that's another name, says, let's go Steptoe. Steptoe fan club here tonight. Down the back straightaway, yet again, 4 laps up on the board here. And Nikki Short in the chat. What's going on, Nikki? Thanks for saying hey. Looks still pretty much the same out in front. Everybody minding their P's and Q's for the time being. Let one lane move forward a little bit, then the next, and then kind of seesaw back and forth. Right on board with Eric Beadle. Things certainly do appear relatively calm here in the early going here at Daytona. Everybody just trying to take care of the truck. Again, knowing there's no fast repair, that certainly plays a part in how aggressive or passive you want to be, especially in these early stages. You don't want to put yourself at a deficit, certainly early on in this race with only 6 laps plus complete. I think everybody's just going to try and settle in here, work in the draft, see who they can work around and draft with, who holds a pretty wheel. One of those drivers that holds a pretty wheel, it's the number 5, the Little Tate's Cupcakes machine. That's Mark Truxell. He's been at this a long time. He's one of the drivers that was in our very first league that we covered here back in the Holly Boys Racing TV days. That was back in the Superior Class Auto Racing. The SCAR series, as it were. Mark Truxell has been known just to take care of his equipment throughout the course of the race. Doesn't necessarily have to be the super speedways, but he's always there at the end. Even if he gets into a little bit of a scuffle during the race itself, he's always able to battle back and be there when it counts. You got to put yourself in position at the end of these races, and certainly Mark Truxell's been good at that over the years. Connor Leach now with the race lead. It seems that the low lane is the preferred line for the time being. Again, that's likely to change throughout the course of the event as the track starts to rubber in. Yes, this place will still take some rubber. You got to keep in mind that the asphalt here at Daytona these days is, I think it's pushing, I want to say pushing 14 years old. So it is certainly starting to wear. Connor Leach hanging on to that top spot over Sean Roberts in that second spot. Roberts listed as one position gain, but it's only over the 119 of Eric Beadle. And Beadle runs there in the outside, the lead truck in the outside line. You see Vincent Short stepping out of line a bit, trying to get some fresh air into the nose of his machine, trying to keep that engine cool. That's something you got to keep very close attention to. If you get tucked up in the draft too close to the truck ahead of you for too long, engine temperatures spike a bit, it gets hot. You're effectively blocking the opening to the radiator, which of course keeps the engine cool. Got to be cognizant of that. So stepping out of line to get some fresh air to the nose, that will happen on occasion. The drawback to that happening is you get out of line like that and it slows the whole line down. And we talked about an organized fashion, an organized line in the draft being the fastest way to get around the racetrack. Everybody bumper to bumper to bumper, but if one guy in that chain, just like a chain, it's only as strong as the weakest link. If one steps out, it slows everybody else down. Outside line slowing up again. Beadles stuck to the right side of Mark Truxell. Connor Leach with Sisk Speed Chop still ahead of everybody else here in his Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Sean Roberts in hot pursuit to the tailgate of the 71. Outside lane, it's still Beadle and Vincent Short. These guys are effectively teammates working together here at the front of the field, so pay close attention. Then there's the 7. That's Brian McCann. He's got a taped number 7, it looks, on that machine. Typically would be a number 3. Brian McCann certainly no slouch. He's going to be a contender here before this one's out as well. Again, fresh off a victory last night in the IROC Challenge Series in the Gen 7 car. .65% fuel load on board. I think it was about the same as we had last night in that Gen 7 race. Last night it was about a 20 to 25 lap fuel window for those drivers. Very well could be similar but different here in the trucks. Of course, they punch a much larger hole in the air. Basically like a brick out there on wheels. Clean and green from the start up to this point. Not a whole lot of movers and shakers out there, but one guy that's certainly moving forward, it's Derek Welch in the number 1. Welch, the Davidson Builders machine, that Toyota Tundra to the outside. It's black and green. He's up 16 positions where he runs currently in that 16th spot. Started 32nd, not a great qualifying attempt for DW. also runs well here. See if he can perform and work his way, continue to work his way towards the front. I will say the biggest mover on the day, though, is the 55 of Tom Barish. I remember a couple of years ago, still in the Num-Tums Racing League, I think they were running the Gen 6 Cup car. I think it was even here at Daytona. He went for a wild ride, flipped the truck through the infield tri-oval into pit lane. Tom Barish, though, up 19 positions at this point, so he's not wasting a lot of time. He wants to work his way forward and try to build some good track position before he makes that first pit stop. Nobody really moving a lot here right now. Again, we talked about the couple of drivers that are certainly not bashful about working their way through this field. That was Derek Welch and Tom Barish. They're hunting the front. And everybody else, for the most part, kind of staying put. There's a couple other guys that are working up, though. You see Caleb Sisk, Carson Rowland. They're up 11, 12 spots. Jesse Redding's up 13 positions. Jarrett Woodard is up as well. Still can't get over this 44 truck field. A little crowded out there tonight, but they're making it work. Been a clean race to this point. Connor Leach still at the front of the field here. He's led the majority of the laps to this point. Of course, Eric Beadle started outside pole, led that first lap, and is still leading the outside line. And it's a good example here. We keep talking about which lane wants to be the most organized, as we have a little bit of an issue here. And I don't even know if we're still live, but we have lost the stream. We're going to step aside here, see if we can get this squared away. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
caution, caution. Empty real quick and then tell me what you got.
Well, back at Daytona here. Missed a few laps with some technical difficulties. The iRacing server, at least on my end, crashed. It's only the second time that's happened in 4 years, but nevertheless, we're back up and running. Caution is out for the first time tonight. Appears that maybe Russ Endicott involved in this. We'll see if we can catch the replay of it. Did we get there in time? It appears no. But it does appear that Russ Endicott could be the cause of the caution, but pit stop's underway. This is kind of what we expected to see lap-wise, but the caution came out, so they're all going to come down. They're close enough. Majority of the field going to come on down. Looks like everybody's going to come on down, get some fuel at a minimum here. With unlimited tires, you still might see guys opt for them, or maybe they're just going to go with fuel only, see how that truck's going to handle. Again, we are under the lights here tonight at Daytona, so the grip levels are a little bit stronger. Pit stop's complete. It looks like Connor Leach may have been out first. No, Sean Roberts. No, maybe not. Roberts might let him go here. Mike Corvu is going to be the leader for the time being, but he did not stop. So Mike in the number 97. Mike might be gambling here just a bit if he stays out on this set of tires and doesn't opt to come down and pit. Fuel is going to be questionable, but again, cautions tend to breed cautions. The aggressiveness is going to go up just a bit as we get further on through this race. Again, we're still not quite halfway yet either. But maybe Mike's banking on a caution to come out relatively quickly after the restart, and he'll get an opportunity to come down and pit, or he's just going to opt this time and come down and pit. If he wanted to get that lap lead, pick up some points. Well, I'm glad we're able to get this thing back up and running for everybody. That was a panic situation for a moment. We didn't lose the stream per se, but we lost the service, and that's the iRacing side of things that dropped out on us. That's, I wouldn't say that it's a first, but it's a very uncommon thing to happen. Again, I think it's only the second time I've had it completely just drop out like that. Meanwhile, Mike Corvu's coming down to pit, as we kind of expected. Looks like Vincent Short is going to come back down to top off. Short, I don't know if I like this call, though, unless it's a penalty, but he was just outside the top 10 when he made this second pit stop decision, and he's going to be pretty far back when he gets back out there. The other thing you got to worry about is they may not let him exit pit lane. Pit lane is, well, pit exit apparently was open, so Vincent Short gets back out. More pit stops underway. So maybe not a bad plan for the 15. Loses some spots. He's mid-pack now, about 23rd. Checking on the stream chat again. Let's see, we got Joe Bennett saying, let's go 00. Raymond Rowland, let's go Rowland. Tom Janikowski with the high five and the checkered flag. Tristan Sykes making his pilgrimage back. Says, I'm just here to watch Fahey wreck. Well, that puts a smile on everybody's face. Speaking of Mike Fahey, he's back in the 32nd position currently. Fahey, the number 19, the track racer entry. Mike coming over here to participate from Lone Star Racing. There's a few Lone Star racers in here tonight. So we get ready for a restart here. It'll be lap 25 when we go back to green. The pace truck lights have gone out, so this is the one to go. They're out of turn 4, waiting for that pace truck to make the hard left turn.
Green flag.
There it is, green flag back in the air. Connor Leach on the gas. Might be a little too far out. Might need to jump up to the outside lane here. That's exactly what he does. Opens the door for Chris Klein a bit, but no drafting help for the 18. No one in behind him. Leach doing it right. Kind of work both lanes, kind of pull them both along. What happens when that lead truck swaps up the lane, it dumps a lot of dirty air on the truck that was behind the race leader and then provides drafting assistance to whoever's behind that truck. You switch down to the bottom and it kind of reverses the situation. So it's almost like a tug of war that you're working with the air alone. Pulling that lane along, you switch lanes, pull the other lane along, which keeps everybody else behind you side by side, which is preferred for the race leader. One truck spinning a little bit here, trying to get to pit lane. Not sure who that is. The 72 of Jean-Luc Wilkie comes to a stop in another pit box, and he's going to check it out here and leave. Russ Endicott still sits in the pits as well. Lukey misses the box and just goes back into his. Not sure the issue there with the 72 out of turn 4 just a moment ago, but some issues there. Meanwhile, out front, Connor Leach still with the lead. Chris Klein in tow. Then Brian McCann. He's switched lanes. He was in the top side prior to the caution. He's going to try and work the bottom now. Connor Leach in control of this field for the time being. It seems like it's easy for him at this point, but I'll be honest, it probably is right now. It's not going to stay that way, though. It's going to change. The further along we get in this race, the harder it's going to be to stay up front. Drivers are going to be working together, trying to come up with a run, a game plan to get around that 71 truck that's in front of the field right now. And one of those drivers that I'm concerned with, it's going to be the 99 of Albert Anderson. He has drafted his way up. The lead truck on the outside, that number 99 Country Time Toyota. Anderson, a well-known super speedway racer, has the patience. That's the most important part about it, not being overly aggressive too soon. Heard guys talk about that. It's just a matter of being there at the end. You've got to finish the race if you want to win the race. It's just, it sounds so trivial. It sounds so silly to say, but it's a reality, and it's something that a lot of guys struggle with. You've got to be there at the end. Take care of that truck. We've got 29 laps in, but we've got 85 laps scheduled, so we've got a long ways to go. Top two drivers starting to get away just slightly here. Let's ride on board here with Albert Anderson on the roof cam. lap truck just up ahead. Maybe he'll get out of the way. Yes, he does. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack. You see the difference in speed just because of the draft? It is huge. Meanwhile, Albert Anderson pushes the nose out in front. He's the new leader, at least by a nose for now. Connor Leach going to battle back to the inside with Chris Klein. Meanwhile, Tom Barrish steps out of line. I think Barrish is actually a lap down now. Just making room for the rest of the field. Oh, well, can't do that. That transition from the apron up to the banking can be a little scary. You saw why. The truck started to get up to that banked part of the racetrack. Started to turn a little more than he wanted it to. Slow truck just up ahead here, the 57. That's Ross Endicott. They almost make contact. Endicott slow going. Back out front, leaders still side by side. Anderson has fallen back a spot as Klein decides to step out from behind Connor Leach, switches lanes, gets up in front of the 99 of Albert Anderson. Crazy moves there at the back of the pack. Not sure who exactly that was. Might have been 30 of Drew Blaze. I don't know if he's just trying to get some air to the nose of that truck or if he had a little bit of a handling problem out of the corner, but he was all the way down below the yellow line and then back up the racetrack. Four laps complete. Connor Leach has been the truck to beat so far, but is he? That's the real question. He's certainly fast enough to put the truck on pole position here tonight, and he's led the most laps up to now, but has anybody really been pushing the envelope? I'm going to bet not. And just about 9 laps away from halfway. Klein now may lead this lap at the stripe. He does. And we got Blitz Ryu in the chat. Says Jesse Redding needs to drive faster. Some words of support. Jesse Redding running in that number 21 machine. At the back of the pack right now. He's up a couple of spots even still, though. He's only 39th. I think he's just trying to wait for that big one. Does not want to be mixed up in that big crash that is invariably going to happen. But how long are we going to wait for that to happen? He's back here in this pack kind of all by himself with a few other trucks just trying to maintain pace and not go a lap down. They're just crossing start-finish line right now, and Chris Klein and company, the leaders, are at the end of the back straightaway. So it won't be long before they're in trouble of losing a lap if they're not careful. If they get all singled out, single file here, they might be able to keep pace and run down that pack. But as it stands right now, just not enough numbers in this pack to have the same kind of pace. Last lap for Jesse Redding was a 48.70, where the leaders are running 3/4 of a second faster than that. So Leach able to hang on to that top spot, but now he's got the 7 of Brian McCann to the tailgate here. Second truck in line to the inside. Now Albert Anderson to the outside of Connor Leach. That's going to be a competitive issue there as well, as Anderson was rooted out of that top spot a little while ago as Chris Klein jumped up and got into that position, but Klein has since dropped back to the 8th position. Connor Leach with some stout company behind and to his right elbow. Also the 52 of Dylan Bryant. Dylan Bryant also an accomplished super speedway racer. Oh, and Albert Anderson tries to clear himself into turn 3, trying to go for the lead, and he crashes. Big one here at Daytona in the middle of 3 and 4. It looks like Days of Thunder out here. So Albert Anderson, it appeared in the live shot, he tried to clear himself into turn 3. I don't think he had enough space to do it. And the big one here, just about 4 laps shy of halfway. Let's try and get a look. So we're going to watch the 99 here. That's Albert Anderson to the outside. Try to get the closest shot we can. Dylan Bryant was giving him a big push. And Anderson just got a little overzealous. Came down the racetrack, was not clear. Turns into Connor Leach. I want to back this up here. We can switch it to, I think, the roof camera here on Connor Leach. Trick is trying to find Connor in this 44 truck field. Here we go. On board with Connor Leach. He was the race leader out of turn number 2, and you see Albert Anderson there to the right in the 99. Not clear yet, and he's already starting to turn down. And it's a tough position for Connor Leach because, I mean, a lot of tracks you would just, okay, if he's really coming all the way down, I'm just going to check up here and give him the spot. It's too early to be that aggressive. But at a place like Daytona or even Talladega, you can't do that. You can't just get on the brakes and avoid the contact because you've got 22 other trucks behind you that aren't going to get the message, and they're going to run you over. So interestingly enough, Connor Leach in pit lane here. He's got some damage, but he entered pit lane as the race leader still, so it wasn't brutally terrible for the 71, and in fact, I think he might still be out there as a competitor with a shot to win this thing. Jesse Redding parks in his pit stall. I'm not sure what the story is there. Maybe we're sharing pit stalls. We probably are, because we got a 44 truck field here tonight, and that's more trucks than they have stalls for. I guess that makes sense. We're going to run into that a lot this season here because some of the tracks just don't have enough space to pit all the trucks that we have here. Connor Leach down and away. He's going to rejoin this field. Got some repairs completed, and honestly, that truck looks pretty good. Try and get another look at this. Brian McCann drives into the back of Leach. He keeps it straight, but he's going to have some nose damage as well. But it looks like Connor actually got away with this one pretty well, all things considered. So through this caution and some pit stops, Dylan Bryant will be your new race leader. And again, speaking of drivers that are going to be hard to guard, the number 52 coming over from the Vigilante Racing League. He is pretty tough on these super speedways. Not even just the super speedways, but especially super speedways. We'll have Derek Welch restarting to the outside, then Sean Roberts, Skylar Herod, Paul Ferdiani in fifth, and then Mark Truxell as well. Eric Beadle receiving too much damage in that one. He's done for the night. Tough break for the driver of the 119 and the title sponsor of the series. Led those first laps, but unfortunately will not be able to drive it to the checkers tonight. Eric Beadle appears that he'll finish 38th place tonight. This is Eric Beadle just a moment ago in that wreck. I guess my only advice to Eric there is more brake, less steering. Nonetheless, night ends early for the 119. Field working out of turn 4. Pace truck about to go left down pit lane.
Green flag.
And there we go. Green flag back in the air. So Bryant still leads the inside, but not for long. The 3 of Skylar Herod drops down in front of Dylan Bryant, while Derek Welch leads the outside line. Herod had the run on the outside, deciding, you know what, I got room. I'm going to clear, come down, and take the race lead. He's got it in the middle of 3 and 4. Bryant swaps lanes, though. He's looking for the race lead. What I tell you, folks, as we get further along here, it's going to get more aggressive, and the changes for the lead again here at the stripe. Dylan Bryant leads them back to the line. Herod not going to get credit for that one. Herod switching lines again here in front of Derek Welch, trying to get that lead back, but Bryant switches it up again as well. He's back to the bottom of the racetrack, and Derek Welch slips up the track a bit, almost gets the saber barrier. Talking about Mark Truxell here, still running in 5th, started 5th. Mark is just going to ride here until it's time to go. Talk about patience. Mark has a lot of it. Of Paul Ferdiani working his way up through as well. Started in the 11th spot, currently listed as 6th. It's that blue truck to the outside, the Sirius XM colors on board. So 45 laps in the books here. We're going to step aside, get a track limits side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a moment of the action, but we'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Caution, caution.
Back to Daytona, we got trouble again here in the tri-oval. Truck still spinning in through the grass. Looked to be Mark Truxell got turned at some point. We were just coming back from break, or a little bit premature, but nonetheless. Big time trouble here at Daytona. It appeared that this started in the top 10. Driver still pulling away from the scene. For as hard as Truxell appeared to have hit, truck doesn't look terrible. Well, let's get a look at it. Oh, they were 3 wide there. I think the 69 of Dickerson was in the middle. I don't know if Truxell was trying to inch his way up, thinking that Dickerson was just holding him down, but Larry just didn't have anywhere to go. A rare mistake. It looks out of the 5 of Mark Truxell. You don't see that very often. Chris Klein looks like he may have snuck through without making contact with Dickerson. If he did make contact, it was minimal. And the 2 comes barreling in, gets into the 80. Some more pit stops underway here at Daytona, but we have had 2 big ones already. One prior to halfway, one just after halfway. And I just heard something interesting here, and it's not so much that I heard it, it's the fact that I didn't. And that was the engine not running on the 3 of Skylar Herod. Go on board here, listen. He's trying to save some fuel, I'm going to guess. There it is, yep. Shut the truck right off. Turns ignition back on, picks up the clutch, lets it out. Refires the engine. 2,800 RPM here, 25. And there it is. Clutch, engine off. That's a good way to save around this place. So we're going to talk to Albert Anderson here in a moment here, talk about that first caution that we had just a little bit ago. We'll pull Albert up into the booth here. Albert, it's Steve with Track Limits. Do you got me?
Hey, Steve. How's it going, bud?
It's going good, Albert. Tough break, man. Out of this one early. You had a strong truck out there. You were battling for that race lead, but you turned down just a tick too early. It looked like you weren't quite clear. Why don't you walk us through what happened there?
Yeah, so Dylan and I have been working together really good all night. We got our way up to the front there. He was pushing me in the outside lane, and my plan was to drop down in front of Connor. We got up next to him. Dylan said, "Hey, you're clear, go." And I dropped down, and I wasn't quite clear. So I'm not blaming Dylan. He's my teammate. I love the guy. It was just a total miscalculation on both of our parts. And I apologize to Connor Leach for ruining his race and everybody else involved in that incident. It was really unfortunate.
Well, it's super speedway racing. It's kind of how it goes sometimes. It is what it is, but appreciate you jumping here to talk to us. I'm glad everybody's okay, and we'll get them next week at Atlanta, right?
That's right, brother. We'll see you next week at Atlanta. Thank you, Steve.
All right, Albert, thanks for talking. It's Albert Anderson involved in that incident there, battling for the lead with Connor Leach. Turned down too soon, wasn't clear, and that was the result. A big-time wreck, and we've had another one since then. All right, ready for a restart here. It'll be lap 52, so we're getting to crunch time here, folks.
Green flag.
And there it is, green flag back in the air. Field races back down into turns 3 and 4. Skylar Herod still the race leader. Derek Welch right to the tailgate here out of turn number 4. Outside lane, it's Dylan Bryant. Welch tried to jump up to that lane there, but Dylan was right there in the way. Nowhere for the one to go. They're 3 wide behind him. Bryant in the middle, the 33 of Paul Ferdiani to the outside. Ferdiani just tiptoeing on the outside there, just inches off the safer barrier. Might have taken a layer of paint off the right side of that truck. Real close again out of turn number 2 as they head down the back straightaway. Derek Welch inches his nose to the front of the field here for a moment, but the inside battling back, and we see 3 lanes now starting to develop yet again. Paul Ferdiani trying to lead the charge to the outside in the middle of 3 and 4. Behind him, the 00. It's 00 Joe trying to work that 3rd lane here at Daytona. 3 wide for the top 6 positions there. Ferdiani and Double O Joe really trying to get something done here to the outside. They just need some more helpers. One truck trying to work its way up there into the mix as well, trying to catch who that might be. The 50. That's Jason Steptoe. Oh, one truck in the wall, though. Double O Joe gets the fence off turn number 2. That's going to break a ton of momentum. Chris Klein's going to switch lanes considering that, and that'll leave the 33 of Ferdiani to the outside by himself. He's going to need some more help. He's going to lose ground in a hurry. Further up front, though, Skylar Herod and Derek Welch continuing to battle for the race lead. Behind the 3 of Ferdiani, it's the triple 3. That's Sean Roberts, also on the inside line. Brian McCann in the black and gold number 7. That's the top 3 in the inside. The outside lane, it's Derek Welch, Dylan Bryant, and it looks like the 23 of Mark Collins in the iBuyPower machine. It's the 20. That's Justin Lawson. Sorry about that. Similar names, but different paint schemes. Got to learn them all again. Oh, trouble behind. Truck spinning down in through the grass. It's Chris Klein, and the 79 Jarrett Woodard goes up the racetrack, clips the 14, and we got a big wreck.
Out. Hold your position. I know, man. I think we need to start putting like an age limit on racing or something, you know?
So caution number 4 on the Speedway. Chris Klein involved in this. We caught just the tail of it in the frame here. We'll go back and watch this. They might have been okay if they stayed down in the grass, but they didn't. They go back up to the banking in turn 3. So let's get a look. So wreck's already underway. Let's back it up a little further here. So Woodard on the inside, Klein in the middle, and then the 50 up top. Looks like they're going to come together here. Tough to tell exactly there if there was any net code or if they just kind of got hooked. But all 3 of these trucks head down the track. Jason Steptoe, Chris Klein, Jarrett Woodard. But then this is where it becomes an issue. Steptoe did a good job keeping it down low on the racetrack, but Woodard and Klein, they're coming back up, both of them, and then they come together again. Clips the 14 of Ryan Kemper. And the 08 gets in the mix. Not quite sure who's in the 08. It's usually Ken Couch, but I haven't seen the 08 on the leaderboard. Oh, there it is. It is Ken Couch. So, 4th caution of the night, lap 57 we currently are on. Race leader is still Skylar Herod, Sean Roberts, Mark Collins, Joe David, Paul Ferdiani, the top 5. They've completed another pit stop. No, they have not, actually. It looks like the top 6 have stayed out on the racetrack. So it's Herod, Roberts, Collins, David, Ferdiani, and Double O Joe. Looks like Connor Leach has also stayed on the racetrack, making his pit stop last at lap 50. So Connor not in a bad spot here. I know Albert Anderson was talking about his apologies for, quote, ruining Connor's race, but I don't think his race is quite ruined. I think Connor can still salvage a solid finish, and there's still an opportunity for him to win this race if it really comes down to it at the end. Well, while we're under caution here, we're going to step aside again. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody else.
Back at Daytona International, finishing up caution number 4. Field doubled up, ready for the restart. Out of turn number 4. One truck trying to work up into position here. We got him figured out. That's good.
Green flag.
And there it is. Green flag back in the air. Skylar Herod on the gas. Battle's going to be for the second spot here between the 23 Mark Collins and Sean Roberts. Field down the back straightaway here since the restart. Side by side, it's Roberts and David, the top two. So Roberts in the 333. Now Skylar Herod charges back on the bottom. They're going to go back and forth here for a bit. This looking a little bit like it did the early stages of this race. Laps are winding down, approaching its end. Roberts is going to lead that lap, but not by a whole lot. Herod still second. So down the back straightaway, it's Herod, Roberts side by side, and then in behind Joe David and Mark Collins. Dylan Bryant to the outside in the 52, and then it's the body armor double O Joe machine. That's your top 6 in the frame. And a connection issue for a moment there for the 34 Joe David. That's a big-time problem if you're on a super speedway and packed up the way that these guys are. Luckily, he came back in quickly. Other connection issue here. This time it looked like it was Dylan Bryant in the 52. On board with Skylar Herod. Now the question remains, do they all have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race? I don't think they do. 24 laps to go right now. Again, we got the restart. I think it was about 26 laps to go. I don't think that they can go that far on a tank of fuel at 65%. It's possible, I think, but then again, who knows? We may have another caution and it won't matter at all. Checking on the stream chat again. Let's see, Anderson, of course, has been there. Jesse Sperling making a comment a while back. I forgot to mention it. It says, regretting not joining up this season. Sperling was a driver here in this series, in this league, the Num Thumbs Racing League. I think he's still part of the league technically, but opted not to run the trucks this season. But I don't know. Maybe talk to Derek. There might be some holes opening up at some point or another. We got Chuck Kiger. He's been around too. It says, goat meat everywhere. Those that know, well, you know. Got Dalton Shoulders saying hi. I don't know who Dalton is, but either way, glad you're here. Thanks for checking in and saying hello. With all that said here, before the action gets insane here at Daytona, got to remind everybody, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Last I checked, there was 21 likes. That's good, but we need more. We always need more. So go ahead and hit that like button if you didn't already. Also the subscribe button. That's something we've been watching real closely here in the first quarter here of 2025. We're trying to push to get that 1,000 subscriber mark. It's a bit of a milestone for us if we can get there. I don't know what it does for us, if anything, but it is a pretty cool feat if we can make it happen. We were sitting on 980, I think, the last that I looked. So 20 more and we're there. So if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and click it. If you have subscribed, don't click it, because if you do, you're going to unsubscribe, and we can't have that. Coming to 21 laps to go. Skylar Harrod out in front. I got to say it, though. It looks like the Sisk Speed Shop has certainly done their homework this week. Connor Leach, part of that clan, led a bunch of laps early on in this event from pole, and now teammate Skylar Harrod here at the front of the field doing just the same and really trying to protect that inside line. A lot of discipline involved there to not switch it up. So there is those times where occasionally the outside line does start to move a little bit better than the inside. A lot of guys will be tempted to throw a mean block there, Ricky Stenhouse style. These guys have shown the discipline to stay put. Let it stay, let it go. If they get by you, they get by you, but I think it all goes back to the truck's got to be in one piece before this one can be won. Got to make it to the finish before you can get that checkered flag. Got to give a pat on the back here to the 23 of Mark Collins, though, as we watch him ride in the second and third spot here quite a bit. He's tucked in behind Skylar Harrod right now in that blue and black number 23. He started 29th tonight, running in second now. Josh Sisk in the chat says, except we all get wrecked. That was part of the homework, Josh. You didn't read that chapter? Either way, teammate Skylar Harrod still at the front of the field. 19 to go here from Daytona. Mark Collins jumping up and down out of line there. I don't know if he's trying to get air on the nose of that truck to keep it cool, or if he's trying to play peekaboo around the mirror to distract Skylar Harrod. Either way, it's making me nervous. Chris Klein says, I just wanted to go back up front. I don't know if he's talking about his perpendicular rejoin, but either way. And we got the VRL, the Vigilante Racing Network, says, let's go Bryant, Welch, and Dickerson. VRL is one of the leagues that we cover here at Track Limits. We'll be live with them here at Daytona in the trucks tomorrow evening. A little bit later start. Tune in about 8:45 if you want to make sure you're here early. Many of the drivers in this race will be in that one as well, like Albert Anderson, for instance. Larry Dickerson, Dylan Bryant. and others. Derek Welch might even run it. Sometimes he runs over VRL. He's been a busy guy lately, so I don't want to speak for him, but he may run it. 17 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Skylar Herod still out in front. Mark Collins, Sean Roberts, Double O, Joe Bennett. Oh, Mark Collins out of shape out of turn number 2. I thought he was going around, but he stays tucked up to the 3. That was a scary one. Again, told you, Mark Collins is making me nervous back there. Might be in need of a drink. Seems like he's got the shakes behind Skylar Herod. Oh, trouble. There's Mark Collins up the wall. Caution. Did we get a caution? How do we not have a caution?
Caution.
There it is.
Yeah, but I'll leave this one on you. If you want to stay out, we'll stay out.
So with 16 laps to go, wreck in the tri-oval, another big one here at Daytona. All we can do is go back and watch. That's not even the same wreck, I don't think. Or is it? Nope. Ill-timed push, it looks. Again, we saw Mark Collins kind of darting top and bottom quite a bit, but it looks like while he was pushing, he may have received a push, and that's typically what happens in that instance. We'll back this up. I'm going to try and find a better angle on this one to try to nail that down, but they're out of turn 4 here. Tower's not going to help me. This may be enough. Let's see. Watch the 00. You see Collins kind of switching lanes back and forth. We've been watching that the last handful of laps. I don't know that 00 Joe got into him there. I think this just might have been an issue with Collins and switching lanes the way that he was. It was very strange. Oh, this might be the telltale. Let's look at it this way here. Watch the second truck in line on the inside, the blue and black number 23. Goes left, goes right, and just goes too far right. Yeah, there it is. That wasn't 00 Joe. Collins just swapping lanes a bit, goes up into the 333 of Sean Roberts. And then everybody else is trying to avoid here. You see Brian McCann picks up on it immediately. So did Derek Welch. Both of these drivers, they're going to just go off-road here. And Welch and McCann both missed the wreck in doing so. So nicely done by those two. So through that exchange, caution number 5 here, it looks like Eddie Rose has stayed out on the racetrack to lead a lap. And his number 88 Ford Performance F-150. So I imagine Eddie's going to pull down and pit here. He's stepping out of line regardless. So 00 Joe's going to take the race lead. Is Eddie out of gas? No, he's still on the throttle. So I'm thinking Eddie may come to pit lane here. Majority of the field did pit there at lap 71, so I think everybody's, there's not even a thought here. Everybody's good to go to the end. 14 now, 13 laps to go. I think we'll get the restart at with 12 laps remaining. So Eddie Rose pulls down into his pit stall. Top off the tank, maybe put some tires on it. He does. Again, unlimited tire sets in tonight's race. I don't know if that's going to stay the same throughout the course of the season. I think they typically try to short the field some tires here to force some strategy into it. I like that sort of thing, honestly. It does force the guys to save some tire throughout the course of the run, maybe skip changing them on one of the stops and go fuel only. And you really suffer. It's horrible trying to drive one of these race trucks on old tires that just need to be replaced, especially when there's other guys out there on fresh rubber. They feel like Superman and you feel like a bum. But it does make things entertaining. So 13 laps to go. Pace truck lights have gone out. So yes, we'll get the restart with 12 laps to go. Got Josh Sisk in the chat, says some cars had some awful fast stops. And yes, a lot of those drivers, 6 and 7 second stops. That's fuel only for the majority of those drivers. There's a 9.5. That might indicate right sides only, but that's even pretty quick, to be honest. Rick LePage was a 14.67. That's 4 tires. A lot of gas and goes here. Everybody trying to get that track position, but the problem is, it looks like everybody did the same thing, so there was really no way to leapfrog anybody.
Green.
And there it is, green flag back in the air. Double O Joe, the control truck on the restart. The top 3 get away a little more than everybody else. That's not necessarily a good thing on these super speedways. If we're at Michigan, sure, no problem. But here at Daytona, all that does is allow the trucks behind you to get a run. And speaking of run, here comes the 71 of Connor Leach. Dominant truck in the early stages of this race. Was in a battle with Albert Anderson, and Anderson cleared himself, but was not clear. Leach able to get repairs affected on that truck, and we talked about his potential for being a contender here at the end, and here he is in that top 5, second truck in line to the outside behind Dylan Bryant. Eleven laps to go. Leader now Dylan Bryant on the outside, but the inside coming back. Seems we've got a little bit bigger trucks line here at the outside. Dylan Bryant, Connor Leach. Got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 trucks to the outside now. The bottom line starting to come back together here, so that's been the dominant place to be all race long. Not saying it's impossible to do on the outside, but man, it is a tall task. Coming to 10 laps to go, and again, keeping in mind, 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. It is a simulation, folks. We haven't had a non-overtime race at Daytona. We've had some, but even in real life, always seems to be chaos on that last couple of laps, but we'll see if it plays out here in scheduled distance of 85 laps here at Daytona. 10 laps to go presently. Double O Joe out in front. Skylar Harrod in behind Double O, pushing him down the back straightaway. Problem for Harrod, though, is he's got a fast truck. He knows how to draft at this place, but he's got to have a hole to get through. And right now, with 52 with Dylan Bryant being side by side with Joe Bennett, really no place to go. Skylar's going to have to force that hole open, push his way through, maybe go up the gut there. The other part of that is you can pull a Joey Logano and try to stuff it in the middle, but as that hole is closing, is he going to lift? Probably not. Still 25 trucks on the lead lap. Crystal Volano, the last truck on the lead lap. Crystal having a strong run here tonight. She's down a handful of spots, and that thing is damaged. She hasn't given up. I give her a lot of credit for sticking it out. Every point matters, and this is how you earn those extra points, even though you got a truck that's hurt. Back out front, though, the battle continues to rage. Dylan Bryant, the 52 on the outside. Joe Bennett on the bottom, down the back straightaway. A lot of drivers playing peekaboo again in the rearview mirror. Left, right, left.
Caution.
And the caution's out.
Bud wants to give me status
I
on
don't
your
know
car
why.
there.
Potentially Eddie Rose involved in this. Maybe John Luke Wilkie, Ken Couch. And this with 7 laps to go. This won't put us into overtime just yet. Let's get a look. What happened? Ken Couch in trouble here. He slides up the racetrack, clips the 72. That's John Luke Wilkie. Trying to get a better angle to see how this incident started. Ken Couch making contact with somebody there. Let's try to get a better shot. There it is, 3 wide. It was the 14. Couch is coming up just a bit, and the 14's coming down. They meet in the middle. Sends Couch to the apron of the racetrack. Left sides get down there, and that's invariably what happens. It just shoots you back up the racetrack. Couch goes up, so does the 14 of Ryan Kemper. Mark Collins is going to sneak through, but Couch trying to save it. Back up the racetrack, clips the 72 of Wilkie. Rest is history. Carson Rowland in this. So is Russ Endicott. Wilkie's going to slide down the racetrack. Very lucky not to collect anybody. And there's Eddie Rose on the inside on the grass trying to get through. Did a good job at that. So 6 laps to go now. We'll see 5 laps to go. We should get to 1 to go. Gives us the restart with 4 laps remaining. Will it be just a 10-mile shootout to the finish? Or does the yellow come back out? I'm going to put my bets on a yellow coming back out because that's just how these races go. And again, for any newcomers watching this race here tonight, that is not a knock on the league whatsoever. You watch the real races with the NASCAR Cup Series, the same thing happens on these super speedways, whether it's Daytona, Talladega, or even Atlanta. Situation with Atlanta, though, is pretty fluid. It's changing quite a bit. The weather down there in Atlanta, Georgia, and Hampton, Georgia, that is, it's aged that track pretty quickly. It's really getting to a point where, yeah, you're holding it wide open in qualifying, and even that's separating the men from the boys. We're starting to see some of that even here at Daytona in the real world as the track continues to age. It was repaved back in 2010, so we're on our 15th year of this asphalt, believe it or not. That's just the incredible part. 2010 Daytona 500 with a fresh pavement when Trevor Bayne took it to victory lane. Off the nose of Jeff Gordon. So kind of as we predicted here, it's 5 laps to go. Pace truck lights have gone out, so restart coming the next time by, half lap away. It's going to be 4 laps remaining. Dylan Bryant appears to be your race leader here. He was leading at the time of the cautions. Double O Joe's going to restart to the outside. Really the disadvantaged place unless he can just guess when Bryant is going to fire off. That's going to be his only saving grace because, honestly, I think Skylar Harrod is going to have the advantage here. Second in line on the inside behind Dylan Bryant. Connor Leach to the outside in row 2 in the number 71. Then it's Derek Welch. The 1 truck to the inside. Then the 34 machine. That's Joe David. Trying to get used to David in a 34 truck. Usually it's the 6.
Green flag.
And there it is. Green flag back in the air. Bryant on the throttle. Gets that truck length advantage right off the get-go. I'll get the words out, I promise. But the outside lane's coming back. Connor Leach with a big-time push to Joe Bennett. Sends him down into turn number 1. Gets at least halfway alongside Dylan Bryant. 4 laps remain here at Daytona. This one really going to come down to these top 10 trucks, I believe, unless we have more calamity, and it can always happen as it usually does here at Daytona. But Dylan Bryant still out in front, side by side for second. Skylar Harrod and Double O Joe.
Caution.
And there it is. Caution's out.
What'd you have there, bub?
Looks like Scott Milner potentially in this. Well, I'm trying to find it, but I can't find Milner in the list. Milner in the 31 here, but no, Mark Truxell involved in this one. There's definitely something going on way before Truxell got involved in it, so we're going to back this up even further. This was down the back straightaway. Really don't know what was going on here. Ken Couch on the outside. See Tom Barish in the 55, then the 90 truck, then Mark Collins in the 23. Couch goes to the bottom of the track. Oh, wow. Looks like Couch might have lost a left rear tire. It's that or just the weight transfer of Couch going to the bottom of the racetrack. It got the thing loose on the straightaway. Had to correct, goes up the racetrack, hits the wall. And then the same thing happens, it looks like, to Mark Truxell. I'm going to back this up again here. So you watch the 08 of Ken Couch. We're going to go a little bit closer this time. So he's coming down the racetrack. This is getting into 3, but we're not there yet. We're still on the backstretch, and then the truck just comes around. So you see that. He hits the wall, and then Mark Truxell going down the racetrack in almost the same spot. The same thing starts to happen. He unloads the right rear of the truck. Now he gets into that tank slap situation. He's trying to save it, and here comes the 14. That's Kemper. Big time hit for Truxell. Wow, that is strange. Well. So I'm not sure if we're going to get the 1 to go this time or if we're going to get our first attempt at a green-white checkered here. We have 3 to go right now. We cross the stripe. It'll be 2 to go. I don't know if they're going to give him the 1 to go with 2 left. If they do, that would be a green and white and then the checker, so they'd get one lap to settle this here at Daytona. So, let's see, this begins lap 84, so it is officially the 2 to go. Lights are off on the pace truck. But they have added a lap to the timing tower, so this is going to be our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish, it appears. Unless there's a glitch with the system, but if I'm doing the math right here, we're on lap 84 right now. We come across the line, it's going to be lap 85, which would technically be the white flag lap. So in a real-world situation, you'd get the white and the green at the same time. Now, I know NASCAR. I've been watching NASCAR a long time. I'm sure most of you have as well. And I know that NASCAR would never let this happen. They would just say to the pace car, turn the lights back on, go an extra lap, or go in green, white, checkered. And in a place like Daytona, I can honestly say I don't necessarily mind it in a way. And in the other way, I kind of do, just because they're going to wad up more trucks. But there's no real financial investment in building these simulated trucks, so why not? Might extend our night, but that's what overtime means, so that's what we're going to do. Unless the system fixes itself and we get the green and white at the same time. I don't know. It's a learning experience for us all. Isn't that fun? All right, here we go. Pace truck hits pit lane. Bryant and Bennett, the front row here. Bryant's going to fire first. Green flag in the air. Gets on the gas. No wheel spin. Big time push from Skylar Herod. And there it is. 2 laps to go. So this is our first attempt for sure. The field barrels down into turn number 1. Dylan Bryant, Skylar Herod, Derek Welch, the top 3. Welch with a nose out in front of the Double O Joe machine. Driver scattering a bit. Dylan Bryant losing some drafting assistance from the 3. That's going to allow Double O Joe to get out in front.
Caution,
and the caution comes back out.
Any feeling about the car at all?
Mark Collins in this. Aikman Pollard as well. There's attempt number 1. Well, let's take a look, see what happened here. Aggression, folks. That's what that's called. Oh, the 25 gets up on his lid. Justin Johnson involved in this a little bit as well. He was the inside truck. Watch it again here. Looks like Drew Blaze involved in this as well. Blaze was in the middle. Pollard just kind of came down there. There were 3 wide. Justin Johnson was at the bottom. This will show it. Watch the 25 truck to the outside. Doesn't realize Blaze is in the middle. Justin Johnson almost goes on his lid, too. But then the air gets underneath the Pollard truck. I'm going to watch this one more time from the onboard. Onboard with Drew Blaze. Now, it looks like Blaze comes up just a touch. You watch the right side of that truck and that sealer line on the racetrack. Blaze did go up slightly. Think you didn't realize Justin Johnson maybe was inside. Try to make room for the 10, but there was no room to the right side. Makes contact with the 25. So, field rides behind the iRacing pace truck here. We are on lap 87 of the scheduled 85. That's how green-white checkers work. I didn't talk about the rules of the green-white checker for those that might be new to watching the stream or even NASCAR in general, but a green-white checkered finish is something that NASCAR and other series have used over the years to try to give the race fans a green finish rather than have them finish this race behind the pace truck. So the way that it works, green flag comes out, we effectively add extra laps to the race. Drivers take that green flag, they go around. As long as they get back to the white, there will not be another attempt. However, if the caution comes out prior to the race leader taking the white flag, then we'll line them up and we'll try it again. We'll do that up to 3 times beyond regulation. In instances where we get a natural green-white checkered finish, is really the same thing. It just happens to complete within the scheduled distance and does not count towards the allotted green-white checker. So technically, in a perfect world, or an imperfect world that is, you could have 4 green-white checkered finishes or attempts at them. Certainly not the case here tonight. We're on lap 88 of 85. Pace truck lights are out, so we'll go green the next time by. About a minute and a half, we'll be racing again. So if you need to run to the fridge to grab a new beer, do it right now. Just don't be long. Again, I still don't believe we're going to have any issues with fuel, even with these green-white checkered finishes. Everybody came down, I think it was about either 14 or 17 laps to go. I think it was 14. Majority of the field coming down to top off, and in fact, I think everybody did so. Pace truck is in.
Green flag.
Let's get this show back on the road. Green flag in the air. Dylan Bryant fires first, gets into the back of Double O Joe. It's going to jump him out to the front even further. Bryant might be clear almost. He forces Connor Leach up the racetrack. Connor Leach, visions of Albert Anderson clearing himself, but Leach checks up this time. I would have kept my foot in it. But Leach now going to push Dylan Bryant. This might be an opportunity for Connor Leach to maybe get around Joe Bennett. We'll see what happens here. 2 laps to go as they work the back straightaway. Dylan Bryant now to the race lead, gets clear at Double O Joe. Middle at 3 and 4, exit of turn number 4. Looking for the white flag here at Daytona. No, crossover here. Joe Bennett goes to the outside in front of Connor Leach. Now we're 3 wide behind him. Contact to the 71. They cross the stripe. White flag in the air. Final lap here from Daytona. No way they make it back to the checkered flag. Dylan Bryant in the 52 with the race lead, but only by a few feet over Double O Joe Bennett. Skylar Herod pushing the 52 out in front, out of turn number 2, half a lap away. 3 wide from first all the way back. Dylan Bryant still with the lead. Skylar Herod pushing. Joe Bennett to the outside with the 34 and the 71 of Connor Leach in the wall. And we got trouble. They're wrecking behind the leaders, but we're going to go all the way back. Oh, big time trouble. Still, one truck almost on its lid, but Dylan Bryant into the tri-oval. He's going to win it here at Daytona. Joe Bennett will settle for second. Skylar Herod third. What a finish. Dylan Bryant taking the race win to start the season off here at Daytona. Wow. Fireworks for sure, on track and in the air. We talked about the 52 a lot this race, or at least early on, talking about he was going to be a contender before this one was over, and that has certainly been the case. Dylan Bryant picking up the win here. Derek Welch just pulling alongside to congratulate. Got trucks littering the front straightaway here. Usually it's just the winner, but I don't know what's going on. Well, with that, we're going to step aside here. We're going to get a break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Daytona International Speedway, Dylan Bryant victorious here in race 1 of the Beadles Custom Car Carriers Truck Series. Let's get a word with the driver of the number 52. Pull him up into the broadcast booth. Dylan, it's Steve with Track Limits. Do you got me?
Steve, what's going on, brother?
Congratulations, man. A thrilling finish. We talked about you early in the broadcast, how watch out for that 52. He's a bit of a sleeper on these super speedways, man, and you did not disappoint. Held off those guys to finish this thing off, take that race win. Walk us through your race, man. How'd you do it?
Luck, and then some help and stuff. I was actually helping Albert out, and Connor don't know, but I kind of cleared Albert. I told him, it was clear, and he dropped down and caused a big wreck. So I take blame on that caution there. But yeah, man, just luck, being patient, knowing when to push and not to push, and coming to the end and stuff like last 8 laps. I'm over here counting the teammates and who is with who's in the outside lane, inside lane and stuff. So it's a tad bit of a mental game too. So.
Well, you made it work. You kept your head in check throughout the rest of this thing. You crossed that line finish, even with the chaos unfolding behind you. Looking forward now to Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. I'm not 100% sure which Atlanta we're on, if it's the old layout or the Super Speedway style layout. But if it is,
it's going to be the new one.
It's the new one.
New
okay.
layout.
So
yes, sir. Yep.
Another Super Speedway style event. I know we don't like to call them restrictor plate tracks anymore, but that's what we're doing. It's the same thing. Another maybe win in store for you next week. Maybe go 2 in a row to start the season.
Yeah, that would be great. But of course, at the new Atlanta, it's a lot more tighter. You got tire wear issues and stuff. So the goal there, I personally feel like it's to stay towards the front and stay clean. And if you get shuffled back, it's going to be really hard to pass. So especially after about 10 or so laps on your tires there. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I kind of wish that it was back to a normal race.
Well, we're looking forward to it either way. Dylan, congratulations. A win to start the season. An awesome way to get going here. Who do you want to thank before I let you get out of here?
Yeah, well, it is the first race, but I know right now Outcast Racing holds the team championship points lead right now because Derek got, I think, 5th and Larry got 8th place. So it was a great night for Outcast Racing. So shout out to Larry, Derek, Albert, and Russ and stuff. Man, they great guys. And yeah, just a shout out. I think there was like 50 viewers watching the race tonight. So a shout out to all the fans that tunes in to you and the broadcast, and a huge shout out to Alan and Jess. I know they tune in every time to cheer us on and stuff too. So shout out to them. I got Lori another trophy for her, but
I was gonna say don't forget Lori.
yeah, Lori. Yeah, she's the main fan here. So, but yeah, all the sponsors. I'm not too sure who the new sponsors are with NTRL right now. So, but a shout out to them, Derek, all the admins, and just everybody as a whole. With 45 trucks, I think that race went pretty smooth tonight. So, and then a shout out to the other 2 guys on the podium. It was a great race and stuff. And yeah, I'm just glad to be back up top.
All right, Dylan. Well, congrats again, man. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at Atlanta.
All right, Steve. I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Dylan Bryant, your race winner here from Daytona International X. We're going to talk to Double O Joe Bennett. Certainly had his ducks in a row here tonight. One short from taking the race win here tonight, but had a strong run nonetheless. Joe, it's Steve at Track Limits. You got me?
What's up, Steve? How are you?
Good, Joe. Congratulations, man. A runner-up finish. Started 25th here tonight. Worked your way up. Finished this thing up just one short of taking a checkered flag. What was the difference maker here tonight? You certainly seem to have a really strong truck tonight.
Oh, well, I was I was trying to work with me and Paul were trying to work our way up there and save a little bit of gas and try to not to pit towards the end. I didn't take tires the entire race because I wanted to try to get track position because I knew there was going to be a lot of trucks here tonight, a lot of stuff going on. So I was going to try to position myself up front and try to stay up there as much as I could.
Well, it worked out well. Certainly, track position made a big difference here, getting you towards the front of the field. Once that truck was in the wind, though, it seemed that clean air, believe it or not, really made a big difference for a lot of the guys, especially if they were able to utilize that inside lane. Did you find that the low side was the best place to be for the most part?
Low side was good, but I'll tell you, man, I went early in the race when me and Paul went up 3 wide. We like the top. You know, the top, I feel like there's a lot of speed up there. The bottom, it was a good spot to run for sure if you had some good pushers and a good 4 or 5 road up cars on the bottom. But I like the middle or the top. If you got 3 good cars, you get a really good run off those corners coming to the line and stuff.
Well, it worked out for you. With that said, though, we look forward to Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. Another, I guess, I don't know, I'm just going to call it a restrictor plate style racetrack because that's the same kind of racing we're going to see. But as Dylan Bryan had mentioned, a little bit more tire wear. That's going to play a factor next week, a little bit more narrow of a racetrack. What's your game plan rolling into Atlanta next week?
Well, with all these trucks, I'm going to try to qualify up front and try to stay out of the mess. I like the bottom line at Atlanta for sure. Save a little bit of tire. You can let off the gas a little bit going in the corners, save a little bit. The top really does wear your tires out a little bit more, so I'm going to try to stay bottom. But yeah, hopefully I can bring my teammates with me. They both got smacked out tonight, but hopefully both of them, I can bring them along with me next week.
All right, Joe. Well, strong run again here tonight. Congratulations on that. Anybody you want to thank before I let you go?
Yep, just thanks. Shout out to my pops. My uncle is watching tonight. My second dad was watching tonight, and shout out to Derek for always running a good league. Shout out to you for broadcasting, and shout out to my teammates over there on the Plus EV team, Paul Ferdiani and Jason Steptoe.
All right, Joe, man. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's 00 Joe Bennett, your runner-up here at Daytona International Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to the driver, the number 3 from Sisk Speed Shop at Skylar Herod. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth and get a word with third place. Skylar at Steely Track Limits. Do you got me?
Sir.
Skylar, congratulations, man. I know it's probably not the finish that you wanted. It's still a solid way to start the season off. Started from the 19th spot, worked your way through. We talked about it during the broadcast. Certainly seemed like you guys all kind of did your homework. Connor Leach was quick out of the gate there early, and then you led a bunch of laps there for a while as well. But what was the secret to things here tonight? Was there one?
I mean, it's super speedway racing. There's really no secret. It's pretty much just all luck and a little bit of fuel saving, but it's mostly luck. But no, I didn't qualify too well here. I mean, us and Sisk Speed Shop, we're usually pretty fast. It's just all about staying out of the wrecks, avoiding them and whatnot. And unfortunately, Connor, Nick, and Joe at the end, they all got involved in wrecks tonight, especially Caleb early on. But it's just the usual mentality going into a super speedway, especially with it being the season opener and 45 trucks, I believe it was.
44.
It's just kind of survive and get out of the way.
Well, you survived certainly a top 3 finish to get it done here at Daytona. Great way to start this season, but this restrictor plate or drafting track style racing, it's not away, it's not over. We're going to Atlanta, the new Atlanta, next week. Some had already said a little bit narrower of a racetrack that may cause a little bit more chaos, certainly when you factor in the tire wear. What's the game plan rolling into the ATL next week?
Probably just a little bit more cautious, especially with no fast repairs this season. We're pretty quick at Atlanta as well, have been the previous seasons, but it's just going to be more focused on our pit strategies and just putting the trucks in a position to where we won't think they'll get wrecked, especially like you said with the track being so narrow and still having high speeds going into the turns and stuff.
Well, with all that said, again, congratulations. Third place finish here at Daytona. Good luck next week, certainly. But anybody you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Yes, DW for putting this league back on. You for broadcasting as always. It's always amazing. Assist Speed Shop, my teammates Caleb, Nick, Joe, and Connor. And we'll see you next week.
All right, Skylar, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
To Skylar Herod, your third place finisher here at Daytona. That'll wrap up the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look here at our official or unofficial race results. Of course, we talked to our top three finishers, Dylan Bryant, Double O Joe, Skylar Herod. Then fourth place was Mike Corvu. Didn't talk a whole lot about the 97 here tonight, but he brings it home in the fourth spot. Derek Welch was fifth. Sixth place was Ryan Pasoko. Again, hopefully I'm saying that right, but a big-time run for Ryan here tonight. I think he started, I think it was 14th. Didn't see a whole lot of them throughout the course of the night, but we talked about it a bunch. Got to keep the fenders on these things. If you're around at the finish, you've got an opportunity, and Ryan certainly cashed in a solid top 10, just one shy of top 5, so sixth place for the number 2. PJ Cox was 7th. 8th was Larry Dickerson. Justin Johnson coming back here in the number 10, finished in the 9th spot. Brian McCann was 10th. Don't think Brian led a lap here tonight. Very surprising after his win last night in the IROC Challenge Series. Brandon Coleman was 11th. Joe David, 12th. 13th place, Vincent Short, also a driver we expected to see a little bit more out of here tonight, but just didn't materialize. Rick LePage was 14th. Aikman Pollard was 15th. Connor Leach dominant early. An issue with Albert Anderson early in the race, though. He ends up finishing 16th. Drew Blaze finishes in the 17th position. 18th, Paul Ferdiani. Mark Collins was 19th. And Mike Fahey, 20th. 21st, Chris Goins. Jesse Redding, 22nd. Jonathan Marsh finished 23rd. 24th went to Carson Rowland. Eddie Rose, 25th. Crystal Villano, 26th. 3 laps down. Nick Biddy was 27th. 5 laps down. Ryan Kemper, 28th. Tom Barish, 29th. Ken Couch finished 30th. Mark Truxell, tough night for the 5. He finishes 31st. Looks like 9 laps down. Tommy Welch was 32nd. 33rd, John Luke Wilkie. Scott Milner, 34th. Sean Roberts, 35th. Justin Lawson finished in the 36th spot. 37th went to Russ Endicott. Jason Steptoe, 38th. Jarrett Woodard, 39th. Chris Klein, 40th. Paul Durkee, 41st. 42nd, outside pole sitter Eric Beadle and title sponsor of Beadles Custom Car Carriers, finishes in the 42nd spot. Albert Anderson, strong early, but again, the incident with Connor Leach, he gets the short end of that stick. 43rd, 52 laps down. And last but not least, the driver of the number 6. Didn't talk about him at all tonight. Caleb, Josh, however you want to call him. It's the same person either way. He finishes 44th on this huge truck field. Definitely the largest truck field, really the largest NASCAR-style race field we have ever covered here, whether it was HBR TV or Track Limits, nonetheless. Honestly, these guys put on a good show. It was your typical super speedway race. Doesn't matter who it is, where it is, what's going on, but these guys got it done. And with a 44 truck field, I'm impressed. These guys did well. We'll see how it goes next week at Atlanta. That can certainly be its own wild card in itself, because it does kind of operate similarly to a super speedway, though it's only a mile and a half, but it is narrower. Tire wear will be a factor. It's something we're going to keep an eye out for as that race goes on. But make sure you don't miss it. Again, next Tuesday, same time. We'll be live here about 9 p.m. In the Eastern time, that is. So make sure you tune in for it. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Do that. Maybe click that little bell. That'll give you the notifications about everything that's going on. Like the stream here tonight as well. If you liked what you saw, we do appreciate that. That's a free thing that you guys can do that helps us here at the channel and also helps the league. So go ahead and click the thumbs up. It pushes the race video out to some wider audiences, whether it's live or even after the fact. So the more likes, the better. It's a positive across the board. And if you haven't already subscribed, we talked about it earlier, please do so. We're sitting on 980 subscribers. So you know what's next. We're looking for that 1,000 subscriber mark. Don't really know what it does for us. If anything, it might not do a damn thing, but it looks good. We appreciate it, and we want to get there. So if you haven't already done it, click the subscribe button. If you have already done it, please don't click it, because those numbers go the wrong way. With that said, congratulations. I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network, and nice job, Dylan Bryant, picking up race win number 1 on the season here in the Num Thumbs Racing League in the Beadles Custom Car Carriers Truck Series. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.